All right, what's going on, traders, guys and girls? Nice to see you here. So, in today's video, I'm going to be analyzing Eurocad, or yes, the Eurocad. So, I am a swing trader. However, it doesn't mean that I cannot take trades. Like it doesn't mean that I cannot take day trades or intraday trades or scalp trades. The way how I trade or I learned how to trade is that I start from the higher time frame and then go to the lower time frames. Yes, I get setups on the higher time frame. I can get setups on the daily, like or for the day trades. I can get setups for the scalp trades. However, I first look at the big picture. I first zoom out and then I go zooming in up to the lowest time frame. Yes, I start from the 6 month time frame. Sometimes I can even go to the 12 month kind of like time frame. So I even take setups on the 5 minute. So nonetheless, let's start this. So I do upload these videos on my YouTube channel, and please make sure that you subscribe, you comment, and like these kind of videos. Yes, I also do TikTok live sessions. For those who miss, you can go at Good in Kakoza on TikTok, even on YouTube and on Instagram. So you can follow me up on there. So this is for educational purposes. I'm not a financial advisor, and everything that I teach here or I share here with you, guys and girls, it is through my personal experience. So this year, on 19th August, I'm going to be making 4 years trading the forex market. So I have experience when it comes to this. I'm now a full-time forex trader. Yes, I'm funded. I'm a funded trader. I trade personal accounts. Yes, and okay, let's keep going. So we are here on the monthly time frame, so you can clearly see that now some traders, when they look at such kind of price action, or like it is in a it's like in a consolidation phase or in a correction phase. However, few traders can, not every trader that can, you know can trade such kind of a price action. So from experience, I can do trade this kind of price action. So you can clearly see that when I because price was moving down, high, down, and then high, down, and then high. So this candlestick was the candlestick that started this impulse to the upside. It came retested, it came back, and then retested again. So this candlestick, so this is a sensitive zone, of which is a strong zone. I can mark it as you know a support zone, maybe. So for me, I don't even use such kind of names, because for me, I mastered this craft and I'm still learning more. So we can see that this is a high. So this is the price potential target. So I'm anticipating for price to come to that area there, to that price level here. So price will not, because we're on the 6 month time frame, price may take it 2 years, 3 years to reach here. So that doesn't mean that I cannot trade this pair for now. So I'm just getting the bias from the higher time frame. This is a top-down analysis. So before price came here, it started from here. So this was our last high. Price came up. So now I can go on and I can go on and do this. Price came from this zone, it came up, and then it retraced down. So before here, okay, so yep. So you can clearly see that price, when it was moving down here to come on this zone, to come and test on this one before it pushed up or it rallied back up. This was the last high. Okay, this was the point where price started to start to push down. So I will mark that, and you can clearly see that this candlestick closed above this. So that marks a break of structure according to me. Sometimes I can pull this to the body of the candlesticks. You see, I'm teaching you the way how I trade. So you can clearly see that price pushed, it indicated that buyers, they are they are aggressive, when it comes to buying on this pair. So what I'll look at, I'll be like, yeah, I now have the bias that I have to buy this pair. However, I can get sales on the lower time frame. I can keep this here, okay? But sometimes you may be confident. Some of you watching this video, you are like, no, my guru told me that I have to mark the wicks, not the bodies. Everyone has their own experience. For me, this is what works for me, and it works. You can mark the highs with the wicks. Sometimes you can mark with the bodies. You know, it depends on the experience you have. So you can clearly see that this is an imbalance. Price pushed. This was a gap between this candlestick and this candlestick. So price came back. This current 6 month time frame, like 6 month candlestick, it tested this FVG, which means this FVG is failed, right? So price, you can see that it is pushing now up. So we are in the 50th month of this year. Today is 9th, and price, you can see that this current 6 month time frame, it is now pushing up. So what does that show us to us? It shows that it will be easier for me to make money when I'm buying more than I'm selling. However, I can get some sell trades. All right. So it is very hard for you to lose when you find this kind of information, or like when you get to know about this. So I will go to the lower time frame on the monthly time frame, and I'm going to look for the zone that so now I know that price, you see now, price never came to fill this FVG. Here also there's this FVG, you see. But according to what we saw in the higher time frame, price is more likely not to come back here to fill this FVG, to keep on pushing up. Why? You can clearly see that here, the price, when it pushed up, it made some retracement because of these wicks. You can see this candlestick. So for me, these gold candlesticks, they indicate buying power. These silver candlesticks, they indicate selling power. So you can clearly see that this, around this area, this is the odd man out. So I'm going to mark this guy, or a girl, yes. And this was a test or a trade execution zone. Some of you may call it a supply zone, some of you may call it order blocks, but for me, I call them you know trade execution zones, right? The test. So when price, you can see that it came, boom, and then it pushed up. So you can even see on the monthly time frame that the candlestick that tapped into this zone, it is a candlestick that symbolizes buying power. And you see the candlestick that came, that produced itself again. Sorry about the other stuff. So you can see that this monthly time frame, it is an engulfing candlestick, engulfing this one, the previous month candlestick. So what does that bring into your mind? It brings that you must be looking for buys more than sells. So I may not even target this high here. I may even just target this high because it is on the monthly time frame. So this is the way how I trade, guys. This is the way how I trade. So you can clearly see that I'll be now targeting. So the trades that I'll be taking, yes, I'll be knowing that price may have a big potential to come to this level here. But however, I would like to stop from here, right? I hope you get me on that. So yeah, now we have the picture on the monthly time frame. So now let's go to the weekly time frame. You have to go, you see, for those who know how to trade the LU12. So now this one, I may call it a what? Let me change it and call it a what? A support zone, because you can see that price was fighting. It came, it fighted. It came back down. So now I'm going to call this one a support zone, right? And you can see that price came back. Boom, it went up. So now you can see, for those who know how to trade the LU12, you can see that this is wave 1, wave 2, and now we are moving for wave 3. So it will be easier for price to even push higher more than even what I'm aiming for. So now let me just move this. My PC is getting it is getting hot and hot and hotter. So right, so let me get, because I'm screen recording. This kind of screen recording, it takes, it's a hard job for what. So let me call it trade execution zones, right? So I've marked this engulfing candlestick that engulfed this candlestick. Price was moving, and then I have marked this engulfing candlestick. So price, you can see that it moved up, it came back, and now it's moving up. So which means this zone here, it's varied. So even if I use this Fibonacci, I'm going to show the price reached the 50%. So you can clearly see that if I mark it until to this high, price truly it came to the 50%. So now price has to move. It may even consolidate and moves down even more, but now currently let us go with what we are seeing or what price is showing to us. So on the weekly time frame, you can clearly see that yes, it's confirming more buys, more buys, more buys, right? Trading is so simple. However, you can lose. So take caution of that. I'm not a financial advisor that I'm here to tell you what to do. No, for I'm just showing you the way how I trade, the way how I analyze, and how and why do I say that even trading is easy? Because I cannot fail to make money when I can do something like this. So I'm going to look for a support or what. So you can clearly say that this was the old man out. Yeah, price was moving out. Blah 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 blah. So yep, I never wanted this video to be even long, 14 minutes. So I'm going to mark this. You see, I'm going to call it a support zone. Let me just call it a support or what. For me, I just call them trade execution zone. But for the sake of this video, yeah. So now you can clearly see that yes, I may even aim for this high. You can do a lot of things. You can get, even intraday trades if once you know what's happening on the higher time frame. So I let me just go to the lower. I may even target this high, but for me, I know that I can, if I get an opportunity to enter, I may not even take my profit here. I may hold some a good trade here and I make big profit. So let me go to the 4 hour time frame. You see how I analyze it. It's so simple. These things, they are so simple to understand. So you can see that yes, if I move down, your price came tested here, it swept out liquidity, it came here to this. This was our last sweep of liquidity sweep. The things, they are so simple, guys. It came here to this was a liquidity sweep, because you see price was coming down like this. Your price was making higher low, higher lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So it broke here, which means it was a liquidity sweep, and then price moved up. So which means this one was a change of character. When price broke here, and then it continued up, of which this was a breakout structure, right? Price made a retracement and now it pushed up. You see the boy how it's getting to analyze. So okay, let me just delete this. I don't want to make my charts to be messy, so I may even do this kind. I may even first go back to the daily time frame. I'm just teaching you how I trade. So okay, there's a FVG here, but I don't think that price may even come back here. However, it can. I'm not saying that it will not. However, you have to follow what price is showing to you. So this is a fair value gap, and even here, price can do what it wants. I cannot say that yeah, price is going to do what I'm saying that it will do. Yes, it can even come back here, and then it pushes up. So I can even go back to the weekly time frame and I'll be like, oh, if price may try to come back, where is the 50% of this candlestick of last week candlestick? The 50%. So if I'm to mark the 50%, now you can see that the 50% is around here. So price may even come back to this FV and then go up. So I'll be like, no, because price, they know that people will like to wait for FVGs, what for the 50%, for the 60, the golden zones, those who trade ICT. These people, they may be like, the market makers will maybe like, oh, let us just use this simple, because some of the ICT traders, they call this one what? They call, let me get rid of this. This is the way how I trade, guys. I'm showing you my strategy. This is a combo. So those people who trade ICT, let me go back to the daily time frame and I'm not seeing, but I'm seeing something playing around here. Some of these ICT traders, they call this is it a breaker block? What? So I'm going to mark this. I'm going to call it support and resistance. So you can clearly see that price, you know, price breakout retested and then it moved up. So I can be like, okay, if this is a sensitive area here, let me call it a support and resistance zone. Okay, so here it was a resistance, right? It broke out, it changed. So which means this is a key level. Some of you call them key zones, right? So everyone has specific names on what they call, but all we trade the same thing. So I'm anticipating for price to come back here and then to push up. That's what I'm anticipating. So you can see the date of today. You wait and see next week. You see what will happen. So price already retested here, but what will bring this price to come back here? So let me go on and put this to this side, and I see very clearly. So you can closely see that this was a breakout, okay, a breakout structure. You may call it that way, breakout structure. And then here is an FVG. Here there's the candlestick that started this move. All right. So I'll be like, nah, let me mark this. Some of you mark this small candlestick. Some of you, I'm going to mark this one. I'm going to mark this one. So let me call it a trade execution zone. All right. So we can see that there is an FVG. There's also an FVG here, a breakout structure. So you can see that this candlestick means that price is going to come back here. So price, there's a high chance that it's going to come back here and then it pushes up. If I'm right on what I'm anticipating, right? If I'm right, so this is a high, I can even take profit from here. So in order for me to validate that this is a valid what? Trade execution zone. However, I need to see something like this. Price coming back, in my mother language you call it okwemola. Price yemolere wano emaleddeyo waggulu. That is what I'll be waiting for. If I see okwemola, around here when price is coming back, making a retracement and starts consolidating or correcting from here, I know that I'll put my buy limit here for price to keep on pushing up. So that's what I'll be anticipating. And if it makes a retracement, I'll add on another trades. So guess what, guys and girls? You saw what I was telling you, that price has a very, 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 very high chance. So now look and see where these things get interesting. We started from the 6-month time frame, right? So you see, if I'm right with what I'm anticipating, I can even put here a long trade position around here. Okay, around there. My stop loss, okay, my stop loss is okay when it's there. If I'm taking out, it's okay. So the first take profit, it is 2, 3. The second take profit, it is 4.4. And then the actual take profit that I told you, it is this one. You see, it is what? 1:8. This is a swing trade. Take note of this, guys. Mark me. Price may come and do like this. Sorry, I'm not that good at English, So price may come and do what I'm just telling you guys, and it pushes up. Even at the point where price reaches here, I can even take profit. I can even, this is already here. I'm making 4%, guys. So when price reaches here, I may, 8%, guys. 8%, guys and girls. Almost 9%. I may even just try to put it a little bit higher and I make 9% from there, because price, it's not that it's a must that price must stop from here. It may push up. So if I get a chance to add in more trades, I can milk this pair to a certain point whereby I can make even 20% from just this move alone. You see the importance of starting from the higher time frame? Okay, see you in the next one. Bye bye.